Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I like to talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today I want to start a new little series that engages with you. So recently, I actually just restarted the question and prompt series, which has already gotten so much love and a lot of comments from a lot of people from recent discoveries of 2023 so far. So if you haven't checked that video out, check it out in the link in the description down below. But also each week I'll be doing a question and prompt series. So the video after this, another question and prompt series. So I always love engaging with you, and at the end of the month we're going to be doing giveaways for that. So with that being said, there's another way I want to start engaging with all of you in a very unique way. So what was thinking about with this is I wanted to kind of select random years and kind of do a top 5 list, and then also get engaged with you. So this top 5 list for me, what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of think about this randomly first. So just to kick this off, of course. So I did a random number generator for years from 1900 all the way up to 2023. Yes, there are movies that are before 1900, but I just wanted to kind of give myself a little bit more room because there's not very many movies before that. But regardless, I did this and I landed, and I swear I did not mean to do this, on the year 1940. So today, I want to talk about my favorite 5 1940 films, and then I want to keep this going with you. So what I'm going to plan on doing is, in the comment section down below, I want you to list kind of, either your top 5 or your favorite 1940 film. I would love to know that. And then also put another year that you want to, get kick-started. And I'm going to randomly choose it. And I'm going to choose that year, and we're going to keep going with this. Showcase the year. Also, I'll showcase that you chose this year, and I might even showcase if you give me a top 3. I will even showcase that as well with you, and get that going. So yeah, it's just going to be a fun way to engage with you. So like I said, I'm starting with 1940. You in the comment section choose a year that you might want to do, and we'll just randomly go with it, and we'll just keep going with this and start talking about different years. And yeah, we're going to start this series off right, I think. So I'm really excited about this because there's a lot of possibilities, and a lot of people have different answers for different things. So, but today we're going to talk about 1940. So yes, like I said, I did not plan this because I recently just talked about one of my favorite 1940 films, which I'm going to go ahead and exclude this, but it is my number 1. And without further ado, my number 1 is Fantasia. But like I said, I recently just talked about this in my last video. So I kind of just was like, I don't really want to put this in the same conversation. So it is my, proxy number 1. So think of the list that I'm going to tell you as 2 through 6 in a way. But regardless, there's a lot of really great films that came out in 1940. There's a couple that come to my mind. His Girl Friday. And we have Foreign Correspondence from Alfred Hitchcock. There's a lot of things that are coming out around this time period, and there's a lot that I'm not even going to mention. But I had to think about it in terms of, okay, what are things that I have rewatchability and things like that. So I chose 5 films that I wanted to showcase from 5 to 1, and we're going to go start from there. All right, so let's jump into my top 5. So starting off with number 5 is a film that is from Indicator right here. This is spy number 294 from this, and it is a nice little edition right here from Indicator, but we're not talking about the editions. We're talking about the film itself, Remember the Night. This is a film written by Preston Sturges, who actually had to leave the film to direct his first film that he ever made. But it is starring Barbara Stanwyck and Fred MacMurray, and they are dynamic in it. It says on the back, when good boy meets bad girl, and that's a really good description, at least at the start of the film, where we have Barbara Stanwyck's character, who's a jewel thief, and is acquitted in court, and Fred MacMurray is the one who is on the opposition side of things. And then things ensue. They get together in some kind of way, but it's really wholesome. It's also a Christmas film, so there's a positive to that. But it's a really great release, and Indicator did a really great job with it. But this is just a movie that really made me happy. Just put a smile to my face, and I could easily see myself rewatching this over the holidays, especially when Christmas comes around. So this is my number 5 pick. It's Remember the Night. All right, so we're going to continue down the Christmas path because my number 4 choice is another film that just puts a smile on my face and gives me a lot of joy. And I'm talking about The Shop Around the Corner, an Ernst Lubitsch film starring Margaret Sullivan and, of course, James Stewart. This is just a really fantastic film, and very much like we were saying with Remember the Night, it is similar in the sense that it's a Christmas film, and that's about the only similarities that it is. It has some screwball comedy aspects to it as well, but in Ernst and also Preston Sturges, they're both really big on the screwball comedy and the dialogue and the combination of the two and how they engage with each other. But this one's really great because if you've seen You've Got Mail, which I paired with this not that long ago, maybe a year ago, I finally watched the original and You've Got Mail. You got somebody who happens to be, we got James Stewart's character who is rich in the way. He works in the department store and is definitely in this big, like, kind of almost like a J.C. Penney's of sorts, a Macy's, if you will, and that happens to be competition to this little toy shop, and that is where these two meet, and they're like butting heads with each other, and eventually how things go. We just talked about it with Remember the Night. So anyway, if you haven't seen The Shop Around the Corner, it's a phenomenal film and definitely recommend everyone check it out sometime. So it's a really great Christmas film. Another great double feature maybe for number 4 and 5 for those picks. So let's jump into number 3, which we talked about Fantasia, so we might as well talk about the other Disney movie that came out this year, and I'm talking about Pinocchio. And now Pinocchio is just a classic film, and it's like own right. But I think the reason this makes this film so unique and so special is it is this crazy story of a puppet just trying to become a boy and get his grandpa back. And kind of just get, things squared and situated. And there's a lot of lessons here. And I know a lot of you have already seen this movie and have seen seen the Del Toro version of it too, which I think is fantastic. This is a movie that is just gonna, I watched this when I was probably 2 or 3 years old, and I've seen it multiple times since. And it's just one that has like stuck with me, especially the whale scene. That's the scene that like stuck with me as a kid, and one that like really terrified me in a way. But I think the animation in this is just top notch, and especially where we're coming from, the 1930s for Disney, where we're really seeing a proliferation of this kind of stuff. You really see it in Fantasia and in Pinocchio, and you're like, wow, they can really work this magic, and it's really well done. So speaking of magic, Pinocchio is a magical movie, so definitely check it out if you've not seen it before. I feel like everyone's seen it, but that's my number 3 choice. All right, so for number 2, we're gonna go to slapstick slash kind of socio-political drama in a way, because 1940, I don't know if anyone knows this, but World War II was happening, and we're talking about a film called The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin, and directed and starring him, who plays a character very akin to somebody we might know that's not Charlie Chaplin with the same kind of mustache. And little do we know that this is one of those films that I think a lot of people have seen. The very end of the speech that he gives at the very end of the film, kind of giving a really nice anti-fascist speech that really resonated with people at the time, but also at the same time it resonates today. And I think that's what makes this film kind of one of the special, unique aspects of this movie. But it really is a farcical, slapstick comedy. You're seeing this caricature of another character, Hitler, and we're seeing him be portrayed by a bumbling idiot. And so this is kind of weirdly propaganda, but also at the same time, it is definitely showcasing and airing out how bad fascism is, really. And I think it's just one of those timeless films. And Charlie Chaplin, this is actually one of the first Charlie Chaplin films that I have seen. And this is one where he talks, and which is not something a lot of people are used to when we're talking about Charlie Chaplin. Now, this is one of those examples that is the case, that is a really special, unique film. So if you haven't seen The Great Dictator, definitely check it out. This is one of the first releases that I have on my shelf from Criterion. So it's wild to think all the way those years back with Seven Samurai and this. Those were like my first 2 Criterions, and here we are now in a Criterion closet of sorts. All right, so now we're transitioning from The Great Dictator to my number 1 film for the year, and this actually would be my number 2, I guess, if Fantasia didn't exist. But I'm talking about Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. Now, this is an insanely phenomenal film. This is actually one of my favorite Hitchcock films of all time. This is starring Laurence Olivier and Joan Fontaine, and those two play off each other so well. Laurence Olivier is definitely conniving and very mischievous in how he kind of manipulates Joan Fontaine's character, who is really young and has just recently married the widower, right? For Max, I think it's Maxim de Winter, who is Laurence Olivier's character, who recently was widowed, married to a girl named Rebecca, which is the title character of this. And the way everything unfolds, especially in the setting of the house itself, is really It's an amazing movie. It's a movie you can rewatch over and over again, but it's just got incredible performances, really great dialogue, and it's got a really great atmosphere to it. It just makes it for a really perfect film watching experience, honestly. So, with that being said, that is my top 5 films from 1940, and I just wanted to make this short and sweet. But what about you? What are some of your favorite films from the 1940? And let me know down in the comment section down below what year you'd want to do next, and we'll see from there how we randomly generate this number and showcase your choices and yeah, get us more involved here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you give it a like, comment down below, share, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I will see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.